Welcome to DeKalb Talks Tourism. We're very excited today to have a special guest with us, Shelbia from Decide DeKalb, but also the director of the DeKalb Entertainment Commission. Welcome, Shelbia.
Awesome. Thank you so much, James, for having me. I'm enjoying myself this morning.
Well, no, we've known each other for years, but tell our audience a little bit about yourself and how you got started.
Well, as you know, working in county government, you typically have two or three jobs that you're doing, even though your title may be something else. So I started out working in our economic development department with the county, serving as an admin, tended to work my way up into a senior project manager. But over the years, entertainment landed in my lap, probably by mistake. But at the time, the county didn't have a process for managing the amount of production that was happening here. So that was 2013. And as you know, the film tax credit was passed around 2008. And over time, that really began to ramp up in the amount of production that was happening across the state. And so we really needed to focus on having a consistent process across all of our cities, but not only that, a consistent process across all of our different departments. Even our city departments needed a process. So I started working closely with the county, with the CEO and the Board of Commissioners, and all of our different department heads to figure out what that process would be. We started conversations with all the cities, and over the course of about 3 more years, we finally figured out what that process would be, and the Entertainment Commission was created. But not only that, we created regulations and ordinances to solidify what that process would be for the entire county, and we worked with each city to help them with their ordinance and city regulations as well. So now we have the Entertainment Commission, but we also have an online platform that we use to manage film permitting, which has been working really well for all of us. Even cities that have an internal process who aren't on the platform, they now have a dedicated person who manages film production, which has made us one of the top locations in Georgia for film production because everybody knows who to call for what the regulations are, what the fees are, and so forth, how they can find locations easily. So that is very important when you're developing a process that they can easily follow, which takes less time for them, which translates into them being able to stay on budget and on time, which is key for them. And key for us is making sure that they understand what those rules are, what locations are available, which ones aren't, and what's allowed and what's not. And then being able to, for our different departments, to be able to handle all of their staffing when it comes to working on productions. Because our police, we are so thankful, our police work and review every single permit that
Wow.
comes through. Our fire department reviews every single permit that comes through. So we have great support from our county departments as well as our city departments on making sure things can happen on schedule, on time, and staff is managed well.
Well,
So
that's
that
interesting. So,
long-winded story to
if you
say that.
have all those different departments, about how long is the process from when you get it to when it's approved?
So it may vary depending on the city because cities have different staffing needs, but we say 3 to 5 days
Wow.
for a review. Because on the front end, we're doing a lot of the front end work, making sure that they have given us all the details of what they're trying to do. The average permit costs about $400. It's not that much. It's their permit fee, it's their review by the fire department, and then it's their application fee. So on average, if they're just filming in a house, it probably end up being about $400. The more complicated ones begin to add on if they're changing, if they're trying to close a lane, if they're in a neighborhood trying to close roads, if they're trying to blow up a car or some kind of special effects. All that stuff begins to add additional fees. But on average, it's about $400. And we try to keep it to 3 to 5 days. So if we're able to do a simple one, it may take a couple of days at the most because the fire department will look at it and say, okay, we probably send somebody to their base camp to make sure that they've set up all their equipment, their generators and so forth properly. And if police are needed, we have a police coordinator in our DeKalb County Police Department. Our chief has been really supportive. She designated somebody. She designated actually two people for us to call in order to coordinate police and make sure if they are on our streets, they're using our police officers, whether it's county or city. They have to do that on our streets. So that police coordinator is instrumental in making sure those lane closures and all of those public safety issues are managed well. So yeah, 3 to 5 days is what we shoot for.
So that's wonderful. So you've made it a one-stop shop. So if you want to film in Chamblee, they can still contact you and you coordinate with Chamblee and
Right.
with all the other, because the police is Chamblee, the fire department's DeKalb, then you're coordinating both.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
big
it's
job.
amazing, right? It absolutely is amazing with staffing changes and so forth. We have to maintain our relationship with our cities on a
Yeah.
regular basis. We do quarterly meetings with them to ensure that they know about any changes to the platform, or we can answer any questions that new staff may have, get people trained so they understand how the platform works. All of those great things have to happen. So yeah, it is a big job to maintain this system and make sure everybody understands how it should operate across the county. But one thing is, on our website, we have a jurisdictional map for location managers in case they know exactly where they're filming. They can put in their address and it'll show them exactly who they should call. It has a link to where they would go to that website to find the film permit application, or it will take them directly to the online system to put in their application. So yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, and I think it's coming up right now. She's pulling up the website.
You can, you can put in DeKalbEntertainment.com. You can, well, yeah, you did. Okay. That might work. That is, yeah, that's the jurisdictional map. So it's a map of the county. All 13 cities are in there. As you zoom into it, you'll see all cities show up. The orange is unincorporated DeKalb, and then the other areas are cities. And so they would just put in their search by address, put in that address, and that will take them to whatever jurisdiction they want to be in.
So with
Awesome.
that, what does it mean? You have unincorporated DeKalb,
Mm-hmm.
but like, am I missing Avondale Estates?
You would have to kind of zoom in just a little bit.
Oh, okay. It's just smaller.
It's just smaller. See, Pine Lake begins to show up.
Oh,
and
there we go. There's Avondale Estates.
Yeah, they're all on there. And it's been a great system for them to have. That was one of the things location managers told us would be helpful for them, is to be able to know what jurisdiction they're in, because, of course, they don't know that when they're out there on the streets.
So you would need to put a little Waffle House icon on Avondale Estates.
So, yeah, that's a great one. The other system we have on our website is a locations map as well, where residents and businesses can add their house or business. It's free of charge. They just send us that information. It's on the website where they can go in and use a Google form to send us that information with pictures and so forth, their contact information. And that's a map that location managers can use to find locations. One thing about our website, though, we are so excited. We are going to be upgrading our website. Our fabulous marketing team, headed by Tara Washington and Miss Laura Ramos, will be working to refine, excuse me, and upgrade our website. So all of these different features are going to be a little bit different, but they're going to be excellent and fun for our
So when do you
location
project the
managers.
new website to be up?
Didn't we say October? Maybe December. November?
So that's pretty cool. You're going to have a brand new website. We'll have a brand new website
Yeah.
about in the same time period.
Awesome.
I like that.
Yeah. This year is going to be really great.
Well, tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about the parent with Decide DeKalb.
So we are the economic development department for DeKalb County. We work with businesses that want to move into the county. We work with our current businesses to help them expand and grow and thrive. We also make sure that all of the incentives and initiatives that have been created by our county leadership are implemented when it comes to economic development. And we know that entertainment is also economic development because when these productions, even if it's just one production comes here, they're hiring hundreds of people. They're spending lots of money in our local businesses with our local residents. And that means economic development. These people are able to spend money in DeKalb, they're able to live in DeKalb, and DeKalb continues to thrive because of that revenue that comes in from these productions. So, and we know that we're one of the top locations. A lot of what films in Georgia and gets that tax credit film in DeKalb County.
So tell us a little bit about how important all these new studios are to us.
Ooh, it's wonderful. Now, one thing about studios, the brick and mortar studios are not eligible for the tax credit. So we are excited about the fact that they're willing to invest in DeKalb County and stay in DeKalb County. The productions that lease space in these studios, they are eligible for the tax credit. So we're happy about that too, because as these productions house themselves in our local studios, that guarantees us that economic development revenue on a regular basis. And so the expansion of Shadowbox Studios, which is formerly Black Hall Studios, the new development of Electric Owl Studios, which will be coming online in a couple of months, as well as Assembly, the huge space that basically will be its own entertainment district in Doraville, in Assembly Studios and Third Rail Studios, which is already there. You know, all of this growth means entertainment can continue to thrive in DeKalb County, regardless of whether that tax credit remains the same or it changes a little bit. We know that these productions will continue to come here, and that's ideal for any community in Georgia. Being able to leverage the attraction of the tax credit, we know we can do that on a regular basis now. We know that's firm and that's going to be here. One of the things that we want to continue to do as an entertainment commission is to create pathways for our young people into this industry, as well as residents and business owners to be able to connect to this industry. That has been that gap thing we have been focused on for the last 5 years, and we're finally beginning to make some progress with that. In working with Georgia Film Academy and working with Shadowbox Studios on training programs, and also the Atlanta Film Society on their PA program that we've had for the last 5 years. Those are great ways for people to get trained, to transition their skills into something that will fit into this industry, and we want to make sure that they know about these different pathways in. And as well as the jobs that may be available from all these productions that are filming in our studios.
Now, tell me, in the beginning, when they were filming in DeKalb or in Atlanta or Georgia, most of the production was actually back in California. But I'm hearing that's starting to change to where we're kind of being more of a complete shop here. Can you talk about that?
So yeah, in the beginning, and let me say this, I've never worked in the entertainment industry. I've always been in economic development. So I had to learn about how this business of entertainment is done. I had to learn that, in the beginning, someone has a concept, an idea, they write a script, they go and they pitch it to a network studio like Warner Brothers or NBC Universal or Disney. And then because of that pitch, that network studio will commit to money. They may decide on who needs to be hired and whatever. And once they greenlight it, a production company is either created or it's hired, and then all these other additions happen. They start hiring people. They start determining where is the cheapest place for us to film, where we can save the most money and get the most done. And with our tax credit, that makes us ideal compared to California, New York, and Canada. Those are our competitors. We remain number one or number two, and it depends on what that production or what that film or TV project or whatever, what their scene is supposed to look like. Do they want a cityscape? Do they want it to look like a country place, a farm or whatever? It depends on what they're looking for. But we have a lot of those locations in Georgia, and that is another reason why we're in the top three. Is because we have beaches, we have mountains, we have cityscapes, we have towns that look like uh, 1970 or something. We have all those different location types here in one area. And they know that many of our studios have been built, purpose built to look and to function just like a studio in California, but more modern. And that's been ideal as well. They're modern studios. Those studios in California are old historical sites. I mean, they're like places you would want to go visit just because of the history that they
Right.
have. But here, they're new and they're modern. They got all the latest bells and whistles, and so production staff love working in these studios because they have everything right there in house. But not only that, Georgia has come up with this process of making sure they have a list of everything they need. All of the companies that typically work with productions have experience. They have a list of those. They have contacts in every single county, so they know who they can call for what. That's ideal for saving time and saving money. And then they have a statewide locations database that location managers can search for. But not only they have a history of other productions that have filmed here, and some of those locations that those places have filmed might be ideal for a future location. So they have all of that readily available for production. So it's ideal that they film here. And that's why we end up being, in the top two or three.
That makes me think as you're talking, if you own a business or you have land or whatever it is you have,
Whatever it is.
how do you get on the list, and how do they work better with you to let you know that they're interested in having film crews on their properties?
Okay, so all of the locations databases I know of are free for someone to join and add their site on there. So the state site is called Real Georgia, Real Scout. You can add your site to that. Our locations database is on our website, but like I said, we're upgrading, so we're going to go to Real Scout as well, where everything's going to connect. So everything that's in our database now will be uploaded to theirs. So we look forward to being able to select all of the locations in DeKalb, as well as have each of our cities be able to highlight all the different locations in their individual cities to promote those unique and wonderful locations that they have across DeKalb County. So yes, any business owner, any landowner, any property owner can update and put their stuff on either one of these websites to advertise to location managers. And eventually, we would like to be able to highlight specific ones, to show, the uniqueness of this space. Here's a crazy looking house. I mean, we tell business owners and property owners, don't upgrade your site, don't make any changes, leave it as is. Productions tend to come in and make whatever changes they want to make to the site. So don't feel like you have to change anything or fix anything. You just put it on there as is, and let them decide how they want to use it and when they want to use it.
It is quite amazing. I've seen a few transformations where you would not even know the building, and they might have only filmed 5 minutes,
Yeah,
and they were there for days getting it set
yeah,
up and tearing it
yeah,
down. It's
yeah.
quite interesting to watch this process.
Setup, breakdown it is amazing. It is amazing. It's time consuming, but they call it prep, and then they call it filming, then they call it strike, and prep. May take 5-6 days or longer. Filming may only take a day or two, and then striking takes another 3 or 4 days because they got to take all that equipment away. So yeah, it is an interesting process that they go through. So many different people, they know exactly what they're supposed to do. So many different departments, the makeup, the wardrobe, the camera people, the lighting people, everything. And it's so many people, it ends up being hundreds and hundreds of people just for one film production. It's just amazing. Totally different type of business from anything else that I've seen.
Now, can you tell us some stories about or some big productions that have been here, and can you share any future productions that so you're allowed to talk about?
Well, a lot of the TV shows that I have my list, but it's not a comprehensive list. We actually, I'm really excited about the fact that we have a lot of commercials that film here on a regular basis. A lot of our Fortune 500 companies, they film their commercials. So filming commercials is different than a film. It's really short, but um, when they film is consistent. They may film like a series of different commercials, like Home Depot and Chick-fil-A and Domino's and a bunch of other ones that film her on a regular basis. But TV shows like Dynasty and Doom Patrol and Legacies and um, Monarch. Um, Let me see, Black Mafia Family, The Resident, The Wonder Years. A lot of these TV shows that film here, a lot of their hero houses, like the main place where they film, are located in DeKalb. So we know that they're going to consistently film here. They build relationships with the neighborhood where they're located. And so we always hear the stories about, what they're doing for the neighborhood, how they're having, cookouts or they're donating food or whatever it is they're doing for our neighborhoods. But even though there's a strike right now, we still have productions that are um, scouting for locations. And so they're sending us emails about where they plan to film in August and October and November. So we anticipate when they come back, we need to be ready
Okay.
for the amount of production that will be happening when they do come back. Um, Currently filming is Bad Boys 4 is filming around unincorporated DeKalb. I don't want to say where because I don't want a bunch of negative activity
Yeah.
happening. But outside of that, when I look at our platform, we have a production called Brainwaves filming. Um, Let me see what else is current. So I can look on my little, so we have a little app, film app, DeKalb, that shows you everything that's filming right now. It'll show you the schedule. It'll show you everything that's been approved. Um, so we don't have much filming right now, which is great because now we can really focus on our website and our current internal stuff going on. But the stuff that was filming prior to the pandemic, not the pandemic, but the strike, everything kind of was put on hold. Um, but we're holding their sites for them to be able to come back. So we look forward to all of them coming back
So we usually
in
do
a
a
few
lot of
months.
Marvel here, don't we?
Yeah, we the street they do come up to the cab because it's just easier to work with some of the locations that have previously filmed with Marvel. Um,
Don't we have like a homegrown show called Will Trent? Is that
oh,
still?
I love that show.
It's a great show.
I, I love it. Yeah, they're out of Eagle Rock Studios, and so yeah, we're looking forward to them coming back as well.
Did you see them around Atlanta? Around, I mean,
Yeah,
I haven't
at
seen them personally, but
Decatur.
on the show,
Yeah,
you see them all over
yeah,
DeKalb
yeah,
and Atlanta, and
yeah.
it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, how a lot of our locations can be converted into other cities. So that's really
Well, it's
cool.
interesting you mentioned Monarch, which is that country show
Yep.
that was supposed to be in Austin, Texas,
Yep.
and it was
Mhm.
filmed here. So I
Yep.
didn't realize that.
Yep.
It is
Yep.
funny how we can become
We
anywhere in
can
the
become
world.
anything. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So, do you have any fun stories that you've had to work with, or
Well, most of when we go on these location scouts, it could be in the middle of a field somewhere. It could be near a lake, like Jumanji filmed over where Black Hall is having the issues with the tree people.
ah,
So they filmed in there, the boat scenes and all that stuff you see in that Jumanji movie was filmed in that area over there. So it was pretty interesting to go walking through there and seeing snakes and all that kind of stuff. Um, we have had MacGyver blow up cars and crash scenes. When you watch MacGyver, something is always blown up on that show. Apple Studios filmed Ptolemy Gray at our water treatment plant, and they built this whole wooden city out there. It was
Oh,
so, I mean, the whole city, well, not even a city, but like a little wooden town. They built that whole thing out there and then burnt it all down. So that was interesting as well. So a lot of stuff like that. Horror movies that I've seen where they've had the crash scenes and all that good stuff. So it's always interesting how they set these things up and film over and over and over till they get the scene right. And then they move on to the next scene. So it's always
well,
interesting.
tell me, have you met any big stars?
I don't do that kind of
You don't
stuff.
do
The
that
only one I
thing?
really is the Will Trent guy, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, other than that, my staff looks at me looks at me crazy because I don't go to the sets and stuff. I kind of feel like um, it almost makes me feel like I'm standing over someone who's doing their job, or I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm interfering with them doing their job. And it would be uncomfortable for me to have someone standing over and watching me. But a lot of people like to go and they watch that stuff. But I'd rather be the one helping to make sure that they can do that stuff, and that they feel comfortable being able to work here and they enjoy coming to the cab. So that's what I get joy
Well, that's probably good. And
from.
I do remember Loki, whoever plays Loki,
Yeah.
was doing staging at my church, and my wife, it's during COVID, so my wife wanted to meet Loki, but she never even got to see him. But it's like I
Yeah.
remember that was a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, every story I've heard about people being able to either take a picture or get an autograph or whatever, everybody's been so gracious, and
Who was
they
it?
enjoy
Bond was down.
coming here.
Pierce Brosnan was
Yep,
downtown Tucker, and everybody was
yep.
going wild.
Everybody was
And
going down there to see him and
yeah,
get a picture. That's really nice that they are willing to do that kind of stuff on their own time, and yeah, yeah, yeah,
it is fun.
it is.
Do you have any other really cool stories or closing remarks, or how did maybe one we haven't talked about because you talked about the education
Yeah.
process,
Mm-hmm.
but what is any type of tips you would give for some young college student or high school getting to college, whatever the age, to get into this business?
Yeah. So, one thing we do with our DeKalb County School District, we work with our CTAE program, which is the career program. They can elect to take a class on film production, media, TV broadcasting, all of those different elements, even music. We like to work with those teachers to ensure that they have the support that they need, that we can bring industry into the classroom to talk to them about the different jobs, primarily in the entertainment industry. With our students, we do an annual student film festival with those kids to make sure they can showcase their skills. I would tell any student who, doesn't take advantage of the elective program to still get engaged with some of these programs that you can take after school or during the summer. The county supports and conducts a Sights and Sounds program during the summer. It's a free program. It's 12 weeks.
Mm.
They expose kids to the industry. They take them through everything from podcasting, music engineering, and so forth. Take advantage of some of these programs that are being conducted here in DeKalb. In terms of music, there is How Big Is Your Dream? It's supported by our DeKalb Parks and Rec. It's not a free program, but it is a music development program. You learn the skills or you develop your skills in music, whether it's you want to sing, you want to dance, you want to play drums, you want to be a DJ, whatever it is, anything music related, that program is ideal. And there's so many others.
And that program's through Parks and Rec?
Yeah, it's supported by our Parks and Recs
Oh,
department. It's normally held at our Porter Sanford Performing
okay.
Arts Center.
Makes sense.
That's happening this summer as well. And again, it's called How Big Is Your Dream? But there are other programs out there. There are acting programs, acting workshops. We have a PA program where you have to be 18 to take it, but it's typically your first step into getting a job in the industry as a production assistant. And that's through Atlanta Film Society. Just go to their website. It's the production assistant boot camp program. But there's so many others. If people email me at sljackson@decidedecalb.com. I can send them a resource list of all these different programs that are happening across DeKalb. But I encourage people to take advantage of all the training programs that are there. The Georgia Piedmont Technical College has programs, all of the different colleges in the metro, Kennesaw, Georgia State, um, um, what else? Georgia Tech, Oglethorpe. They have now film programs that you can take, and the SCID as well. We partner with a lot of these colleges as well to bring those students into the fold where they can work as interns or they can connect to some of these training programs. So there are opportunities for people to get in this industry. There are opportunities for people who want to convert their skills to something in this industry. And it's just a matter of them connecting with us to find out what those different opportunities are. So I encourage people to stay on the path. Don't be discouraged just because you get a no. You don't have to join the union, although it's ideal when you do. But a lot of these organizations are on our Entertainment Commission and have provided us with the advice on how we can make sure that people know about them and know about the different opportunities. So yeah.
Well, Shelby, I'm so excited that you came on our show. We appreciate it. Been great working with you all these years, and the future I think is just going to be soaring still. New studios and more productions. Get the writer strike over. We can't be that long, and then we'll just be cranking right up again.
Yep, absolutely, cranking right back up. So yeah, we're excited about that, and thank you for having me.
Well, thanks
today.
for being with us. Welcome back anytime.
Awesome. Thank you, James.
And thank you for visiting our podcast. Have a great day.